Hi guys, it's Athene with Reese.
Today we're going there. We're doing it. We're tackling that issue that gets you the angry people, that gets you the fanatic people, that gets you the clicks, that gets you the views, that gets you the comments.
Today we're going to a very controversial topic, the one and only
religion.
Religion. Does God exist? Islam, Catholic. What do you think?
Is it bad?
Jews, is it bad?
Is it good? The rotten element of the human species? The Crusades? Is it the obvious evil?
Atheism? Is it bad? Is it evil? Are you gonna burn in hell?
Is it obviously the intellectual superior high road? Atheism? Realizing that there is no God? That everything is just science and rationally explicable?
Let me cut the chase.
Cut to the chase is the expression.
Cut to the chase.
Yes.
Do you believe in God, Reese? Are you a religious person? Because you could say religion is believing in a God, right?
Right. Well, when people talk to me about that, they tend to say like, oh, so you're agnostic, right? And I think that's how they would label you as well.
So can you explain it? Because I don't...
So you got atheists who believe that there is no God, and you got agnostics who say like, well, I don't know. It's like I haven't seen proof, but I haven't seen anyone disprove it. Like I'll just say like, I don't know, man.
Okay, that was the video then. Very controversial topic.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.
I hope it was very enlightening.
Well, that would be a little bit lame.
Yeah.
I think I gotta give a little bit more elaborate answer to
yes,
it.
because you have some very interesting points to make when people bring this up on this live stream.
Yes, I always bring it up because I think that it is very important for people to realize when they're caught up in certain ideas or thoughts, or bring up those points into
Sorry,
that's God.
It's God saying like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop making that video.
Whenever people bring up like religion and God and stuff, I think it's very important for people to be aware how much the way we look at things and the way we go through life is based on concepts and ideas and language. And what I mean with that is when you go to, let's say, a mosque or a church, and you have like 100 or 200 people there, and you would take everyone separately and you would ask them questions about, for example, God. You will see that every single person has their own alteration and own little views, and actually has each one of them a different way of looking at it. When you think then about Muslims or Catholics, you basically just create some kind of boundary, a practical boundary, to talk about a certain group of people. The problem though is if you go a little bit deeper, you see that the group is merely a practicality, and it's not like a fundamental property of each individual. And let me go really far in that, because the thing is, it's being used all the time for good, more times for bad, to actually like label an entire group of people. Like for example, Muslim or Catholics are bad, or Muslims are bad, or this are bad, or they're fundamentalist, or they blow themselves up. It's very easy as a person to just stigmatize an entire group of people and just think in very simple concepts, because it's what relates to you the easiest. It's the easiest to process. It's the easiest to...
Simple.
It's very simple. It's also very...
They are bad.
Yeah, they're bad.
I am right. They're wrong.
It's very easy. And the reason why I'm saying all this is because when you go around and you ask, are you Catholic, or are you Muslim, or are you this or that, you're basically wanting to put someone in that group that you have created in yourself. Like it's almost like you want to label someone. So like, are you part? But the thing is that when you think about it, and when you create it in sub-layers, you will find that every religion, that every, like even scientists or whatever, every belief has its people that are really helpful and make people happy and try to help. And you also have more people that are more closed. You have people that are more douchey. You have people that are scammy. You have people that are really nice. Even though religion can bind people and stuff, it's very important to be able to be aware of the mechanics and the dynamics, and be able to elevate yourself above that, and to start seeing people for what they are, rather than try and simplify it by throwing them in a group, or this is that or that. Like, because at the end of the day, every single person has their own experience, has their own way of looking at life and has their own richness. And the moment we start looking at people as unique individuals, it's much more, you'll be much more compatible with your environment and would be much more like accurate in the way you perceive things and try to go about things. So
yeah, but like the real atheists, the one that love to be on the atheist subreddit and stuff, will be like, yes, but all those people would still be better off if they didn't believe in religion and didn't teach it to their children, because their beliefs are wrong and they're infecting coming generations, and they would be more rational people and make better decisions if they were not.
Well, I would disagree with that. Because like I know a lot of people that are religious and that are amazing, like that are really helpful, and I know a lot of atheists that are douchebags.
They would say, oh, that's coincidence, like everything can happen, but still, generally, if you're not religious, you're...
Well, what you're doing, what you're starting to do is like, you're starting to generalize.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what is the issue I've been bringing up in the first place.
Exactly,
it's a generalization. If you have people around and their religion is really helpful for them to stay together and to like create that connection. Like
right.
For example, very simple example, zakat. What is zakat? It's one of the
right.
pillars of the Muslims to give, what is it? I think it's 0.5% or something from all your what you made to the poor. And you might say like, okay, but the thing is like it has helped a lot of helped a lot of poor people. And the thing is that I'm not gonna come and go with a scientific gun or whatever and go and shoot down all those values that has helped tribes and has helped cultures to actually really take care well of themselves. Of course, on the other hand, you can also bring up the wars, like, oh yeah, what about like the Holy Crusade and stuff like that.
Terrorist bombings and
but the thing is like, you see the good things and the bad things, and you always got to make the balance for yourself and try to move forward. And it's the labeling and the generalization and the stigmatization that actually like rather steers towards the bad side of things. That is almost like fanatism. That is what you're basically criticizing in the first place.
Yeah, and it tends, like all research, and this is really true, you can Google this, points out that when you treat people like that, when you judge people like that, you will, in all likelihood, and this is really in like 99% of the cases, you will tend to make them more fanatic. They will become defensive. Psychologically, it's in human nature to become defensive if people label you as, you know, crazy or stupid for being religious. You'll get back at them and say like, you think my fundamental beliefs about life are wrong? Well, screw you.
You're actually making it worse. And as an atheist, if you think science is really the holy grail, then it's important to base yourself on studies, on sociological and psychological studies in your interactions. Because if you know that from scientific studies that you'll make it worse by confronting people in a very unrespectful way, you're basically making it worse and actually walking against your own principles of science, to say it like that, because science also embodies psychology and sociology and how to interact with people.
Unless you're like Darren Brown or what's his name, you know, NLP, and you know, like all the tricks to convert people with like all the like neurolinguistics something. Maybe all the atheists just have to learn NLP and learn how to like, you know, do all that psychological ninja on people. I was thinking of another thing that
I don't really know what you referred to, but like I don't even know if it was a joke or serious. But
it's like partially a joke. But I was thinking of something just now that you were touching upon that I think is a really important point to go deeper into, and that is that what atheists, I mean fanatic atheists or like quote unquote militant atheists, tend to do is they say like, okay, but it's still a much more sane view and helpful view and stuff to be rational and scientific instead of religious. What they tend to do is, rather than looking at reality and saying like, okay, how has it played out, they look at like, well, in theory it would play out better if you were different. And what I mean by that is, in theory, just to give an example, communism should work really, really well as well. And a lot of people condemn capitalism and say like, oh, capitalism is so bad. Sure, I understand those arguments, but as we were saying on the live stream the other day, capitalism has given us all this infrastructure and has given us all this stuff that has allowed us to advance. And you can theoretically say like, yeah, but if we had done it differently, this would have not been like that and things would have been so much better. But
like when you boil it down, reality overrides every single theory you can come up with.
Right.
Because reality is what dictates the flow of reality. If tomorrow things start suddenly flying, then we have to revalue like gravity. Like that is what science is. Reality is always number one. So if you go about and talk to people and it makes it worse, then reality is actually teaching you that you're not taking like action in a correct way. You have to revalue and reevaluate how you actually interact with people and bring those things up. With the religion stuff, when I want to boil it down, because you might say like, yeah, you have brought it all up, you've like, what's your point at the end? Every single person at the end of the day is unique, has their own experience, has their own beliefs, has their own concepts, and your way in which you can detach yourself and are not too emotionally invested in what you believe will give you the level of flexibility, how to cope with reality and change of things that happen around you and make you adapt a lot easier. And that also incorporates your ability to look at other people's beliefs and respect them and tolerate them, because that type of behavior has not only proven to be very effective throughout human evolution, but it will also allow you to be able to take the best of each, because there is no such a thing as this is good and this is bad. Everything has its complexity, and you can learn from Buddhism, you can learn from Muslims, you can learn from Christianity. Yeah, like everything gives you things that you can learn from, and being able to just look at things for what they are and just absorb the good things and focus on the good things will allow you to grow as a person much more, and will also make you actually fundamentally not really care so much what people believe in, but rather being able to just cope and understand and try to move forward with what you have. I think that is the core thing I wanted to say. You're not gonna say something really, you know, like just like with the gaming news at the end?
Should I start to introduce gaming news type jokes at the end of these videos?
Well, they just create that
just to drag the people who don't have the attention span, like through the whole thing.
They just go like, yeah, if it's too serious, it's too serious. Else they have that last laugh beat. So now you suck, man.
Fucking hell.